How did this happen?
Okay, I don't feel like recording my own voice, so Daniel is gonna have to step in. So, photosynthesis takes place in the chloroplast. Pretty easy stuff. In there are multiple stacks of these little disc things, thylakoids, called grana. The granum are floating around in the cytoplasm of the chloroplast, except that it's not called the cytoplasm. It's called the stroma. In what you would also call the cytoplasm of the thylakoid is where you'll find the thylakoid lumen. Stage 1. Light-dependent reactions. Stage 1 starts off with a photon of light entering a chlorophyll molecule in photosystem 2, exciting an electron, and forcing it to go down an electron transport chain. As the electron is passing down the chain, the energy being released is used to pump hydrogen ions into the thylakoid lumen, creating a concentration gradient. The low energy electron then passes into photosystem 1, where it gets blasted by another photon, exciting it again. This time all the energy is going to the NADP plus reductase to create NADPH. Meanwhile, water molecules are being oxidized by an enzyme to replace the missing electrons and to also donate its hydrogen ions. Oxygen is the waste product in this case, so it diffuses out of the plant and into the atmosphere. Now, with the thylakoid being pumped full of protons, it wants to get out, since a huge concentration gradient is present. Luckily, there is a protein called ATP synthase, allowing the protons to flow through. Magically, this actually mechanically spins a protein and fixes phosphate groups to ADP, creating ATP. This entire process is called photophosphorylation. Light-independent reactions, Stage 2. Stage 2 is also often referred to as the dark reactions, since they occur in the dark. A better name for this stage would be the Calvin cycle, since this series of reactions are all sustainable and reusable through a cycle, and it was primarily discovered by this guy called Melvin Calvin. The Calvin cycle has 3 steps, and begins with carbon fixation. This step takes 6 carbon dioxide molecules and fixes the carbon atoms to 6 RUBPs with the help of an enzyme called rubisco. Why the specific numbers? It'll make sense in a bit. This results in a 6 carbon chain, which is very unstable and splits off into 2, 3 carbon chains. The result is a high energy molecule. So where did it get its energy from? Well, remember those ATPs and NADPHs that were created back in the photophosphorylation step? They are the ones responsible for step 2, reduction. The electrons in the ATP and NADPH are at a high energy level, which help drive the reaction as it releases its energy. They then turn into ADP, phosphate groups, and NADP+. The result is G3P or P-gal. In this case, 12 P-gals are created. However, in order for this cycle to continue, the initial RUBPs must be regenerated, so the third and final step of the Calvin cycle commences, regeneration. 10 of the P-gals are recycled to form the 6 RUBPs that began the cycle, using up an additional 6 ATPs in the process. Then the remaining 2 P-gals can be used to produce, finally, glucose. And if you decide to do the math, the number of carbon atoms remain constant, making this a very elegant and efficient process.
Bye bye.